and welcome. I am Civilian and this is Sunless Sea. Someone requested that I play this, and I thought I have this game. I played about 100 minutes of it. I started a run. I didn't finish that run, but we're going to start a new game for the benefit of you. And I'll tell you what, I love it. I love this game. I've been playing loads of Fallen London for like the last 6 months. I say loads. I don't play it very consistently. It's like a browser game, very similar to this in many ways, but without the whole sailing around the sea bit. You just kind of explore London, and it's wonderful. I love the way that the world and the lore of this game are presented. If that makes sense, I think it's great. It doesn't. So many things just start the game. Here's 5 hours of exposition. This game, it's just you start and then you're in, and it doesn't bother explaining things. You have to kind of work it out for yourself, but I really enjoy that. It just makes me want to discover all of the secrets of this game. And the same thing happened to me in Fallen London. I'm not super hardcore with it, but I love exploring it, finding out what's up. The setting is fascinating. I think I've linked my accounts actually. I'm not sure what that does. Anyway, we are going to be a street urchin because I like the aesthetic of subtlety and evasion, and I haven't played enough of this game to think that any particular way is better. And I think as a street urchin, obviously we want to be rich. It's like the opposite of what we were before, right? So we are an urchin, we're used to like a life of poverty and scrabbling, so we just want comfort. So yeah, we'll do that. Let's be addressed as my lady, just for a sense of irony because we are an urchin. Let's be, this doesn't really matter, let's just be this fairly generic looking lady. Some of these portraits are very interesting though. Ah, names. Names are so difficult. What does the C stand for? You'll never know. It's a secret. Advice for captains. We don't need advice because I've got a lot of self-confidence, and is that not all you need? There's passenger. I'm not gonna read all of I'll read like the interesting things, but otherwise this episode will be mostly me reading things, so that's fine. We've got an unsettled salvager though that we're carrying to Venderbite, not Venderblight, Venderbite. Slightly different. What else are we gonna do? We'll go read the morning papers. I think you're supposed to do that every time you kind of come back to your lodgings, because then you get a recent news and then you can give it to people, which is nice. And then we'll go back to London. We'll visit the Admiralty's survey office. So yeah, I played about an hour of this game. I know that in general, how you sustain yourself out on the Z, the Untersee, the Untersee, whatever it is, how you sustain yourself out there is you go to a place, you do a port report, and then you bring it back here and you snitch. You snitch on the things that you see out there in the world to the Admiralty, and they're like, good job, have some things. And I'm like, thanks, I love things, they keep me alive. So, let's ask about anything in particular. From Gator's Morn in the Corsair's Forest. Cool. We'll leave. I don't know if there's a time limit on that, but we'll see. Let's offer passage for Tomb Colonist, since we're going there anyway. Tomb Colonist is now in our hold. I think we have more space. Can we fit more in? Probably not. We've got a Tomb Colonist. You have to actually sell them, which is kind of weird, but it's fine. And we've also got Curiosity. So yeah, this is mechanically weirdly similar to the browser game, just with this whole other thing as well. Let's go. Let's leave London. London's alright. So we can put our ship on any of these speeds indicated by the dial in the top left. I'm going to stick us on speed 2. Now, speed 1 is slower, but hunger ticks up at a constant rate regardless of how fast you're going, but fuel burns more if you go faster. I'm not sure what the ratio is, I'm not sure what the most efficient course of action is for us here. I'm not sure if one speed is slightly more efficient, but I'm going to keep us on 2 speed, but we're also going to go with our lights off, which means we all get a bit terrified, but it also means we use way less fuel. So that's fine. But yeah, so the reason that I'm going to go at faster speed is simply because I don't know what's more efficient, and also I think it would be quite boring because we have to go quite long distances sometimes, and I don't think you would find that necessarily very entertaining. I mean, I think that's kind of the pacing of the game. It's quite slow paced. Anyway, we've arrived at Hunter's Keep, and I think this is always here. Yeah, so a hump of dark rock swathed in mist, like 100 other Untersee islands. But here's a grand house, windows aglow, lawns impossibly green and lush in the false starlight. Raked gravel paths. You stand on the dock as the sea nudges the ship's sides. An unexpectedly warm breeze carries the faintest trace of lavender. Let's go ahead and spy on the no, let's recon it. I don't know how to pronounce that, but we'll recon the island. Now we have a port report. We will also spy on the house. This is straightforward for us because we have veils. Now I am fascinated by these sisters. I have not played this game much, but I've stopped by here a few times. We've had lunch with them, and I am I want to learn. I want to learn the secrets of this whole game, but especially these sisters. So we peer through a half-open French window into a grand parlour. Grand in size, if a little reduced in style by dust and neglect. A dark-haired, pale-skinned young woman bends earnestly over a piano keyboard. Another, fair-haired but unmistakably her sister, sprawls on the sofa with a book. A third sits by the fireplace, staring sorrowfully into the embers. Soon, she says, and the piano music falters and stops. We'll go hungry, and then the end will come. For me, but not for you. The pianist raises her eyes from the keyboard. Hush, if we don't speak of it, she frowns. Has she seen you at the window? You withdraw. We now know something. We don't know what, but let's present ourselves at the house. Amazed with smouldering topaz eyes shows you into the parlour where 3 young women wait. A visitor, the youngest cries. The next youngest chuckles. The eldest sighs. Do excuse the indecorum. She says, visitors are rare. You are very welcome. I am Cynthia. The noisy one is Phoebe, and the cheerful one is Lucy. You are in good time for lunch. Will you join us? Let's have lunch with Phoebe. Here's a story. Phoebe has a story to tell of 2 lovers parted by water, of a raven that carried messages, of a fragment of the moon. She beats time on the table as she speaks, as if to a song only she can hear. The effect is hypnotic. Your attention drifts out through the skylight of the dining room to the false stars glittering in the roof of the cavern. You drift like a puffball spore. The Untersee shimmers below. Islands lie like mineral specimens on black velvet. Ships bob like wood chips between the islands. Vast spined things pulse in the depths. There is a scent like the scent before a storm. The storm came, says Phoebe quietly. Everything's changed. Somewhere in there, you finish the last course. The scowling maid reluctantly serves Jeeves and Bath Oliver biscuits. That's all for now. We've got a memory of distant shores and a bunch of stuff. But we also have news. We have news. With our recent news, we can give them news. And their messages, their headaches secured, and we're invited to lunch. Again, we've got a second lunch. 2 lunches in one day. Amazing. So yeah, with recent news, we can turn it into extra lunch with the sisters. Let's have lunch with Cynthia. Cynthia grasps your arm and whispers to you. Her eyes are wide and blue, her hair is wild and tangled, bats might nest in it. It seems to you that you are sitting on a hillside above a wide blue lake, listening to a story of a murder, an axe, a net, blood on scented water. Another chop, Cynthia asks? You've barely touched your food. Here, I'll have the maid wrap something up for you. You can't be hungry. It's not safe to be hungry. And we've now got Salt's attention. Okay, that's good. I can see why she's a bit dramatic. I can see why that's the assessment. Let's leave. I think we're done here. We shall launch and turn off our lights. We don't need light. We just need to go headlong, charging into the dark together through the Untersee. And we have a map here. So I believe the last run, it was kind of here-ish. We were taking the tomb colonists too, so we'll do that. There's a ship over there. It's not, I feel like combat is not generally worth it. It's quite expensive and you don't get a ton of stuff. So we're just gonna quietly, and I've also learned that everything wants to fight you. These bats want to fight us. This ship probably wants to fight. Oh no, it doesn't. Incredible. Incredible. Because so far most of the things I've come across in this game have been raring to, here we go. We're just gonna flee. We're gonna flee aggressively. It's not fleeing, it's a tactical withdrawal. Because yeah, I don't think battle seems worth it. Like you fight someone and you just get a handful of random stuff in a fairly unhelpful fashion. And yes, so if you're out at sea for long enough, then you get this something awaits you in port. I think it's never been a limiting factor for me before, so I think it's mostly just to stop you from just popping out and back into places in an attempt to cheese events or something. We bought a decaying emigrant north, and let's see. Yeah, we'll do something shady. We slip our furtive passenger past the skin checkpost and the confirmation of consolation. Thanks, Captain, she remarks. Let me teach you a couple of tricks, just in case you do this again. And we have gained a Veils, which is good. I feel like it says speed, stealth, and deception. Firstly, speed sounds enormously useful in a game where fuel is a limiting factor. I assume that it increases speed without increasing fuel consumption. That may not be true. But also I just kind of like the aesthetic of us going for stealth and deception a bit. 200 echoes, very nice, and we have lost a tomb colonist. Well, let's have a chat on the tomb colony of Venderbite. On deck, you can hear the sound that 1,000 bandaged dead make as they shuffle and cough. It's something like the world's most restless concert audience, or the world's most plague-ridden cathedral. Let's find ancient captains to speak to the unsettled salvager. Yeah! I didn't even know what the unsettled salvager is. I've lost track. An assortment of decrepit Z captains gathers around her, compelled by tradition, honor, or boredom. She picks her nails and closes her eyes when at last she speaks. I want to find Lady Black. The captains that can run, do. The rest shuffle away as quickly as they're able. Only one remains behind. How long were you down there? He asks. 20 minutes, she replies. The captain puts his hand on her shoulder. Seek the house of the keel in Polythreme, he says. But if you can forget her, do. It's possible. He embraces her and departs. What is the unsettled salvager? Just a quick question. Let's speak to Longshanks. What do you want in your life, Longshanks? Khan Shadow. It's like the flit at Z, right? Ah, I know what the flit is! Because they like to just throw nouns in without explaining them, which I like, but I know what the flit is. It's like the rooftops of Fallen London. Yes, I know this from playing Fallen London. No one to tell you what to say or to do, and no one to kick you downstairs just because you're a little bit tall. Put me ashore at the Shadow and I won't forget you. So it's in the east central Untersee. That's quite a way off, but you know what? I'll try it. That's probably a thing that I should do. I think the tomb colonist was automatically offloaded, so we're pretty good there. Monstrous Almanac. Spooky. Yes, so I'm not sure what this objective is. You brought a criminal to Venderbite. I did that thing. I have a task from the Admiralty, so I'm not sure. Dreams of a lady. So I guess we've got an unsettled salvager on my ship. I must have clicked through it and not paid enough attention. I guess we have an unsettled salvager on our ship that's looking for a lady. And we need to go to Polythreme. I have no idea what that is. I have not played... This trip is about all I've done of this game. More or less. Anyway, we will go back because there is more to do in Venderbite. We have more to do, and one of those things is going to be exploring. Yes, we should explore because something awaits us. Actually, no. First, I would like to gather ourselves a port report. So we're just going to ask around. There's a lot of complex clues to keep our contacts in London interested. Perfect. And what else? there is a curator here. We will go talk to the curator, but first we will explore Vendor Blight. I love the flavor text here. I am going to be clicking through some of it just because it takes quite a while. But you know, we'll see. Ooh, my lady, I'm a good seaman. I'm yours if you'll have me. Will you have me? I'm hungry. I'll work hard. He seems likely enough, if a little ragged and sorrowful. Yeah, let's take him. There may be further, I'm sure there will be further effects from this. I'm sure this is a bad idea, but we've gained a Vales and we've gained a crew. So, do you know what? Sure, that sounds fine. Let's visit the first curator. This is going to be very atmospheric. Responsible for the preservation of the tomb colonies. Yes, it has been here much longer than London, like all the oldest tomb colonists, but even tomb colonists dissolve in the end. Its time is close. No more light. I don't know how to pronounce that, steward cautions you. The curator is terribly afraid of moths. It's just one of those words where I know what it means, but I don't know how to pronounce it. There's quite a lot like that, because I do a lot of reading. I read a lot of books. So it's like, you know the words, but you just never, that doesn't come up in conversation very often. Anyway, he opens the door and you step into near darkness. A pair of luminous lamplighter bees buzz in a latticed ivory tube. There is no other source of light. A bandage shape no larger than a child lies crumpled on a couch. It lifts its head with obvious effort. It takes several seconds for you to distinguish its voice from the soft buzz of the bees. Let's listen to a whispered request. 7 colours. Yeah, sure, we'll do that. We'll ask about the Grand Sanatorium. Oh, Silkskin, you don't want to know. The chuckling becomes a cough. We don't die here below. Not unless we go to Z. So we needed something else, somewhere to end. That sounds miserable. Let's not go there. And let's accept the commission. Let's go find some colours. Yeah. And it gives us clues. Oh, and someone has scrawled in the margin, beyond the gate there is a sea more sunless. Let's not go there. That sounds like a terrible place. We're just trying to get rich and retire. But, you know, helping this dude out might help with that. Now then, so yes. Let's speak to our mascot. Let's play with the ferret. I have gained a terror. Thanks, ferret. Love it. Love the comatose ferret. It's so depressing. So I think we should head more north. Partially because we're near the edge of the map. I think if we just kind of do a little loop on the way back, maybe swing by Hunter's Keep again, because we've nearly had lunch with all of the sisters, and then we could have lunch with all of them, and then back to London. Because I think just a direct line back won't gain us any new information, and we've also still got a load of fuel. So I think we'll head at great speed with our lights off to the north, and that's partially because I'm not sure if 8 Terra is bad. It's quite low on the meter, so I assume it's okay, and there seem to be a lot of events in this game that fairly randomly increase and decrease your Terra, so I'm assuming that it's not that big a deal. If they're happy to give me a Terra just for talking to a ferret, I think, or just for trying to play with a ferret and getting bitten by it, I assume Terra, 1 unit of Terra, is not that bad. This may not be true. It may be that later on in this game I have regrets about what is that. Please don't hit me. Please don't. I've learned in this game that like anything that moves will try to kill you. That's an important lesson I've learned. So we're just gonna skirt around that and we're gonna swing up here. And this looks pretty likely. I see a building, I see lights, so I presumably see a settlement. Snow sweeps down and the ship's engines labour. Great. Snow in the north. So, it gets colder in the north, eh? So, that means that there's... does that make sense? London fell, I know, but... A tooth-cracking treasure. A chunk of grit baked in your ship's biscuit. You crack a tooth and curse. Your crew chuckle. But when the object turns out to be a diamond, small and badly flawed, but a diamond nevertheless, they are all hush. Diamonds are sacred to stone. One says, give it to the Z captain. It'll be luck for us. Let's be careful. Yeah. Now we've got Stone's attention, and we know something of the 3 gods of the Z, and the thing that we know is that they are stone, storm, and salt, and there are powers. And we've lost 5 terror, so that's quite good actually. It's probably a shame to throw away a diamond, but you know what? It's probably good for morale. We're lowering our terror. I don't feel bad about that. I think this is the kind of game where it pays to be cautious of the gods, you know? might be worth appeasing them. I don't know though. I'm just trying to do my best on my first run in a very strange, very unfamiliar game. And I'm very much looking well, it's not technically my first full run that I will do. Anyway, we have arrived in a place called Wither, a chilly city beside a waste of salt. Now, there is the House of the Question and Wither itself. Let's go to the House of the Question first. Northwest of Wither Town, the House of the Question stands alone. Here the initiates of the house make offerings to the three gods of the deep sea. And perhaps a fourth who is not a god. It's the one place in Wither where you can sometimes get a straight answer for a price. Gaining the attention of a god is useful chiefly for lifting curses. Ask about the drowned man. The initiates of the house are reluctant to speak of him, but you may be able to bribe them enough to gain a few tenuous snippets. That's 100 echoes. Defy the gods. Spit on the floor, curse the priests, overturn an altar. Well, I was just talking about being nice to the gods. It will set our terror to 0, but I feel like our terror is not a problem at the moment. It will increase iron and hearts, but you will never be able to remove any god's curse or benefit in certain other ways. Do you know what? I think let's just ask about the drowned man, shall we? It'll cost 100 echoes, but honestly, I think information is an incredibly valuable thing in this game. Not least because in Fallen London it is an actual currency. And fragments, yeah, scraps of lore. Gain enough fragments and they'll combine into a secret. Let's see, the end and the beginning. He is not a god. He came from the north where it is too cold for gods, and to the north he will return. If you go north, nothing of you will remain. That's a good hint considering how far north we already are. Let's see how expensive fuel are, by the way. They cost Z stories. No, I'm keeping my Z stories, thank you very much. Well, let's not, is that like, maybe that's what happens if, because the map I saw when I pressed M, hold on, when I press M, the map has a hard boundary. I assume that the drowned man happens if you go too far north. I kind of want to just see what happens, but I'm also kind of invested in this run, so maybe I'll just do that as like a separate run where I just spawn, head north, see what happens, because I'm kind of invested now. I put emotional energy into this run, so I want it to be moderately successful. So let's start by gathering intelligence, because I very much want a port report. The citizens of Wither enjoy questions, so much so that they always answer a question with another question. This can make intelligence gathering frustrating. I love it. I love this whole city. So we could spend money to reduce terror, but I'm not going to because I'm cheap. Let's explore the town. Yes. A contest of riddles. Fisherfolk, sailors, a shady couple of likely pirates, and is that a drownie down by the water's edge? They sit round a fire at the Z's edge, passing around a bottle of something, viciously black. They're wagering on riddles. Will you join them? Hell yeah, we're gonna bet an echo on a simpler riddle. One of the fishermen is bursting to try it. A whale's eye? The fisherman chuckles and he pounds the ground with a fist. City folk, he crows, city folk, pay up. We paid up. We lost an echo, but do you know what? We tried. And that's what's important. And that's all it looks like we can do here. I'm not going to pay like tails and things because I haven't worked out how rare they are. Looks like there's land over here. So I might swing east. I think that would make sense. So we're going to kind of swing eastwards, follow the land a bit. Not sure what that thing is. Looks kind of that thing up here behind the offices. Looks kind of scary. So I'm not going to get too close. Instead, I'm going to follow these islands east to see what... Aha! And there's another port already. I was quite worried that this game would be long stretches of nothing, with ports and places to go being quite rare. But it seems that you can just pick random directions and hit places, which is good. It seems fairly unlikely that you're just going to end up stranded with no fuel and so on in the middle of nowhere. Although it is, of course, entirely possible that that will happen to me now. Anyway, Codex, an Isle of Answers. Codex, a desperate cave full of mute exiles. I don't know how mute exiles and an inexplicable colony of shivering bad-tempered monkeys give us answers, but let's compile a port report. No one will speak. This is a challenge. Still, we manage it. The exiles see many come, fewer leave. Some are even willing to communicate, but their gestures are unfamiliar and the meanings unclear. These are answers without questions, as useless as a key without a lock. That is how this island provides answers. Shops. They have got shops. That seems quite expensive. Cool. Pleasure to meet you, Isle of Codex. I'm getting out of here. Now, I don't see anywhere likely, so I might just cut straight south. Now that there's like a map with Fog of War on it, I want to uncover all the Fog of War. I want to see everything. So I see a little bit of land here. There's probably not much there, but I'm going to cut sort of straight south because I don't think there was much here, if I recall. And we're just going to see where that takes us. Hopefully to something interesting, but we will find out. Now then, let's go fast. I feel like as long as I go fast, hunger and terror will be manageable. Just going fast with the lights off, we can manage hunger and terror. I hope and assume. Ooh, what's over here? See some light. See something swirly. We're going off. I will keep an eye on our resources. I could very easily get distracted, but I will try my best. We enter the storm bones. St. Eligus sends his fire to dance in the air on deck. Very far away we see the great light of the Ragged Crow. Do you know what? I'm not sure we have the resources to go very far east, but we have discovered Chongyu Rift, so that's nice. But yeah. Oh, there's a line here and I don't know why. Oh well. Rift. That sounds like the kind of place we should be hanging out, a rift. And we are gaining lots of fragments, which converts into things. And there's bats here. Might just head a little bit more east, away from the bats. I just don't feel like combat is very worth it. Let's see. The Corsair's Forest. Aha! We were supposed to be going to the Corsair's Forest. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. We were supposed to be going to somewhere in the Corsair's Forest. Aha! But these are pirates. Pirates are not the intention. Pardon, I need to wait till it's fully charged. It's just not worth it otherwise. Hello, pirate ship. I can't tell if it's trying to cut me off, trying to ram me. Let's just aggressively nudge their ship. They appear to be exclamation marking. I'm not sure what the problem is, but let's shoot them. Hell yeah. I don't know, did we like break something when we hit them? Cruiser. Oh, you can see the crew going down as you hit them. That's quite sad. That's quite sad. So let's try and get round the front of them, because they appear to be stuck or going very slowly. Let's just sit in front. Oh, let's not sit in front. Let's go this way. We're gonna try and stay in front. Oh, they're off. Why are you ramming me? That's so rude. Excuse me, sunshine. Our ship is on fire, and that's unfortunate. But their ship is more on fire, and their ship is soon going to be dead. And I should have just waited for full charge. Learning lessons, waiting for full charge. We are definitely out of their firing arc, so there we go. Very nice. And we are somewhere. This might be the place where we were asked to compile a port report, or at least I hope so, because that would be very efficient. Let's loot and scuttle this thing. And we've got a bolt of fabric. Parabola linen. Parabola is the serpent palace behind mirrors. Or someone made that up. But in any case, where do they weave this sleek and ambery glimmering cloth? I have no idea, quite frankly. Can I go through this bridge thing or under it? Question. Important questions. Yes. Guider's Morn. Is this the place we were supposed to get a port report? I don't really know, but it might be worth repairing our ship. If we can. Let's find out. Guider's Morn. The Morn is a stalagmite vast as a crag, and its foot has no safe harbours. The Corsair's citadel nestles halfway up. An intricate system of winches takes the strain, and your ship rises slowly from the sea. Her hull creaks in protest. Grizzled sailors groan and cling to stanchions. Higher, higher, higher. Now the Untersee shimmers like glass below. Children, clambering in crevices, cheer, and you wave alarmingly. Oh no, they wave alarmingly. The winch motor slows, and you hang in a cradle next to a red-bowed pirate cutter. Well, this is fascinating. But you know what? I think this episode has gone on long enough. So, we will do some more of this at some point. I have been Civilian. This has been Sunless Sea. I will see you next time.